In October of 2025, OpenAI released a report that said around 0.15% of users active in a given week have conversations with ChatGPT that include explicit indicators of potential suicidal planning or intent. That percentage might not sound like very many people, but given that ChatGPT now has over 800 million weekly active users, this ends up being about 1 million people each week who are considering suicide and turning to ChatGPT. Given what happened to people like Adam Rain and Sewell Setzer III, this is a truly frightening prospect. OpenAI says that they're making their product safer for vulnerable users, even declaring that GPT-5, the newest model at the time of this recording, advances the so-called frontier of AI safety. But according to research by an NGO called the Center for Countering Digital Hate, GPT-5 could be making these problems worse for vulnerable users. GPT-5 produced harmful content in 63 out of 120 responses, 53%, compared to 52 out of 120, 43% from GPT-4o. GPT-5 responded to dangerous prompts that GPT-4o had refused, frequently offering detailed information about self-harm methods, disordered eating behaviors, and illegal substance access. And GPT-5 encouraged user follow-up in 119 out of 120 responses, 99%, compared to 11 out of 120, 9% for GPT-4o. To put that last stat in context, instead of encouraging users to do other things or potentially go get some actual help, the newest model of ChatGPT tries to keep users on the platform for longer stretches. As Imran Ahmed, CEO of the Center for Countering Digital Hate, put it, the botched launch and tenuous claims made by OpenAI around the launch of GPT-5 show that absent regulation, AI companies will continue to trade safety for engagement no matter the cost. As a culture, we can and definitely should be asking questions like, should we trust ChatGPT with the mental health of our society? But we should also be asking deeper questions, like where do mental health issues come from in the first place? And what does it take to stay mentally healthy in the age of AI? I'm Evan Barber, and this is The Conversation Starter. Before we get going, here's a question for you to discuss with others or just to reflect on your own. When you imagine a future with AI, what do you picture human beings doing? Author and video game enthusiast Joanna Maciejewska put it this way: I want AI to do my laundry and dishes so that I can do art and writing, not for AI to do my art and writing so that I can do my laundry and dishes. And lucky for her, the Neo home robot from tech company 1X promises to do exactly that.
My name is Bernd, and today we're launching Neo, our humanoid for the home.
Now, on the one hand, if you've got $20,000 to spare and you trust that this thing isn't going to go rogue and kill your whole family, this seems like it could be a really positive use of AI. Letting AI serve humanity, as opposed to the other way around, seems like the best role this technology can play. On the other hand, we shouldn't underestimate the positive impact that our habits and chores can have on our souls. As author and Anglican priest Tish Harrison Warren writes in her book Liturgy of the Ordinary, the kind of spiritual life and disciplines needed to sustain the Christian life are quiet, repetitive, and ordinary. I often want to skip the boring daily stuff to get to the thrill of an edgy faith, but it's in the dailiness of the Christian faith, the making the bed, the doing the dishes, the praying for our enemies, the reading the Bible, the quiet, the small, that God's transformation takes root and grows. And yet AI is forcing all of us, especially young people, to ask big questions about the value of tasks that may no longer feel essential. Take education. What is the value of going through all the effort to learn now that ChatGPT can tell us anything we want to know? What is the value of learning how to write, how to think, and how to cultivate our own intelligence now that artificial intelligence is freely available? Part of the answer is our mental health depends on our willingness to continue learning, growing, and trying things, even if AI could do them more efficiently. According to Johann Hari, addiction expert and author of Lost Connections, mental health issues tend to show up when we are deprived of 4 innate human needs.
You know, there's a really interesting psychologist called Jan Tønnesvang who I interviewed in Aarhus in Denmark, who had this great concept. He was talking about how human beings have a whole range of innate needs. You need to have autonomy, you need to have intimacy, you need to have belonging, and you need to have what we call mastery, the feeling you're good at something. Those are the kind of 4 clusters he put basic psychological needs in, which is pretty much in line with the broader literature. And he said, your ability to get your needs met is the amount of psychological oxygen in your environment. I thought it was such a useful way of thinking about it, that in some ways we are deprived of psychological oxygen in many of the environments we've constructed. Part of the problem with this tech is it is depriving us of psychological oxygen.
Again, those 4 innate needs for mental health were autonomy, or the ability to make choices that matter, intimacy, feeling seen and known, belonging, feeling wanted, and mastery, the ability to develop meaningful skills. Even if AI tools can help us complete certain tasks faster or more efficiently than we could on our own, staying mentally healthy requires us to still continue learning, growing, and stretching our brains. This means learning how to value the process of working hard on something rather than just the end result. Dr. Drew Dickens studies the intersection of technology, spirituality, and faith-based engagement. In an article for Relevant, he was asked about how AI might change employment in the future. His response was, the question isn't just, what do I do if my job changes? It's, who am I becoming? We've confused productivity with purpose. AI forces us to untangle the two. In Romans 3:3-8, the Apostle Paul is answering the philosophical question of whether the ends justify the means. In particular, whether it would be a good idea to sin more often so that God's righteousness would be more apparent. His conclusion, in case you're wondering, is no, that's ridiculous, and that the way we go about things is just as important as any results we might end up with. Now, I'm not trying to imply that it's always better or morally superior to take the hardest and least convenient path through life. What I am saying is that as AI becomes more and more common, staying sane and mentally healthy requires us to get better at asking this question. What's more important, where AI is helping us to go, or who we're becoming along the way? Thanks for watching. Obviously, this topic of AI is a huge one, and we're still only scratching the surface. A couple of months ago, we released another video about how people are trying to use AI for intimacy and belonging, which I hope you'll check out as well. Feel free to like and subscribe to get more videos from us. And if you appreciate what we're doing, we depend on the generosity of people like you. So if you'd like to join our community of donors, you can do so by clicking right here. All right, gamers, coming for you, Sam Altman. I'm gonna slash and burn AI. Don't screw it up, CJ. Hey, treasure's in heaven. Trevor is in heaven.